We're going to talk a little bit about improvements that are made to the home and whether they increase the value or they don't. And this is good information to know not only when you're trying to do a CMA, but also just talking with a seller who's thinking about remodeling versus putting it on the market. So good information to have either way, great way to just set an appointment and meet with somebody to go over the facts to help them make a decision. So some of the improvements that increase value of the home is landscaping. If it's elaborate landscaping or new and it dramatically improves the look of the home, that will increase the value a little bit. Now, as we talk about these, I do want to mention that the cost of the renovation does not produce an equal increase in value. So it's usually 30 to 60% of the cost. So don't tell people not to expect that if they put $50,000 worth of landscaping into a property that they can just tack that on to the sales price, because it doesn't work that way. And ultimately, the value is always determined by the buyer. So they may love that landscaping and the buyer might not. So it normally increases the value somewhat, but as with all of these things, the ultimate value is in the eye of the beholder, the eye of the purchaser. Additions. Typically, these do add value to a home, depending on how well they're done. I think we've all been in homes that have had a do-it-yourselfer add something on and it isn't that attractive, but if it's done professionally, additions will increase the value of the home. A finished basement. Because you're adding extra living space, a buyer typically likes having a finished basement. So that will increase the value of a home. An in-ground pool can increase the value of a home if the buyer wants one. If the buyer doesn't, it can be a negative factor. And so you'll see that this factor is on both lists of an increase in value and a decrease in value. So that one is very dependent on what the buyer is looking for. A garage addition is almost always something that will increase the value of the home. Additional land, depending on how it's configured, that will typically increase the value. Central air, that's a biggie. Always increases the value. Built-in fireplaces is another nice touch that people like. A patio addition, anything that kind of extends the living space of a home, that will increase the value. Some of the things that don't increase the value of the home are mechanics. Things like a new roof, new plumbing, new electrical service, new furnace, new downspouts, new storms and screens. All of those kinds of things a buyer expects to be in good working order when they purchase a home. They don't see that as an upgrade. It's just, you know, like tires on a car. They're supposed to be there and they're supposed to be in good working order. As I mentioned, an above ground pool, a pool in either case is a possible increase or not in value, but an above ground pool specifically provides no increase in value. It's really just a big form of chattel. It's just something sitting there. Excellence versus good condition. This is an increase in value, but not as much as what home sellers think. Everybody thinks their home is so incredible, but even if it is, even if they've put all top of the line features in the home, it might only provide an increase of 5 to 10%. So sometimes you have to be diplomatic when explaining that to somebody who's put in all the bells and whistles. A new kitchen, newer appliances. These will provide, I think, a favorable impression on buyers. People like to have a nice kitchen. but it won't provide the increase in value, again, that a seller sometimes expects that it will. Decorative shrubbery, that's no value either way. So those are some improvements that you can talk about with sellers as far as whether it will add value or not.